Did you know that the highest level a player can reach in the game Pac-Man is 256? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 125. My name's Gareth Riley, I'm going to be your host. And on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Bonjour. I'm okay, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Ça va?
Oui, ça va.
Good, that's enough of that. Right. Very nice to see you, James. On my virtual right in this cosmopolitan show is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
Hee-haw. Good morning.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, I had to get in on the French vibe there. Bonjour, Gareth. Ça va?
Oh, something crashed. You just made something crash in the living room.
I fell off my chair at those literary skills.
Great. Hello, Paul. And on my virtual opposite is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, I'm very well. I'm not going to offend anybody by trying to speak French, so a good afternoon to you all.
Oh, lovely, Darren. That's what I like.
The Scouse accent does offend us Brits, though. So.
Oh, steady. Is that the quiz this week? You do a Scouse accent, Paul?
Hey, calm down.
Oh, dear.
God. I asked for it.
Dear me.
And this is our final podcast.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
James, what have you been doing this week?
Well, you know me, I end up watching a lot of random TV shows and films. And this week I've found a new show on Apple TV called Pachinko. Have you heard of it? Anyone seen it?
Tell us about it,
I've
please.
heard of Pachinko the game.
Well, I mean, I think that's inspired the title because of the unpredictability of the game. But it's about a Korean family and across different generations from 1910, I think, to 1989, and how they've adapted to moving from Korea to Japan. And obviously being under Japan's ruling for most of that time as well. And it's quite interesting. It's fictional, but there's definitely elements of it that you believe would happen. You know, there's quite a lot of abuse of power, I suppose racism. It's really interesting. I find it fascinating to watch. It's a great historical view on life in those times. It's got a really good cast as well. The main character is the woman that was in Minari, that won the Oscar. I think she's called Yoon Yoo-jung.
Okay.
So it's got a really good cast. I'm really addicted to it. There's 8 episodes, about an hour each. I'm nearly finished the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good.
So thumbs up from James, a recommendation.
Definitely.
Oh, good. Pachinko. Okay. I might give that a go. I like Apple TV. I'm a really big fan of Apple TV. Paul, what in God's name have you been doing for a week?
I'll tell you what, it's all been happening this week. It hasn't really. Regular listeners to the podcast will know, that I like to give health updates every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time we spoke, I'd just been for an X-ray on my shoulder, just before Richard's wedding, actually. I've had the results back, and apparently the tendon in my shoulder has calcified, which doesn't sound good. And it's given me rotator cuff disease, so that's why my arm hurts. Now I've got to go and have all sorts of physio and stuff at the hospital. But, it's all good. I know what it is now, so nothing to worry about. But what I want to talk about is an old-fashioned style of entertainment that I've fallen back in love with. Never mind your TV series and your Apple TVs and things. I have, since watching Reacher on Amazon Prime, I've decided to try reading the books by Lee Childs.
I thought you were going to say I've just started to kill people.
Yeah, well, I'm keeping that quiet in case the police listen. But yeah, I've started to read all of the books, and they're fantastic. They're really, really good. They're proper page turners. Once you start reading it, you can't put them down. I've gone to bed and lied there and thought I'll just read a chapter, and then like an hour later, I'm still going, what's he doing now? They are so good. So if you're looking for something a bit more old-fashioned rather than all this newfangled stuff, I can thoroughly recommend the Lee Child Jack Reacher books.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you, Paul. We'll look out for those. Darren, what have you been doing this week? What's piqued your interest?
So I have not gone so far into the past, but we went to the cinema to see Doctor Strange, which I really enjoyed. I thought it was brilliant. So it's directed by Sam Raimi, who did the Spider-Man movies from the noughties, and he did The Grudge, I think, as well, and a few other films. Evil Dead, yeah, can't forget Evil Dead. And I thought it was brilliant. So initially, I think people were a bit nervous because it's just over 2 hours long, which I thought was quite refreshing. It's not a big 3 hour one, and it is different. I think it's reviewed pretty well, but it's certainly split opinion. But it's got some surprises, as we kind of expect now for fans of the Marvel films. But I really enjoyed it from start to finish. And although you can only do so much in a 12A horror-wise, there was definitely a darker tone, and there has been a couple of shocking moments in there as well. So it was really, really good fun. And then on Saturday morning, I was awoken to the sound of two fighting cats. They've fallen out big time, so they're currently in isolation because they are scrapping. So that's been fun to deal with. Slowly trying to reintroduce them to each other, but they are old timers, so it might take a little while before they get along again.
Wow! Oh God, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's been a game of two halves, as they say, in the last week. But hey ho.
Wow. I've got one recommendation. I think I watched a series on Amazon Prime at the moment called Outer Range, and Outer Range is like an 8-part new series from Amazon, and it stars Josh Brolin. My series come on going, I can't help you with Amazon Prime. You bet you can't. It's a 8-part series, and like Josh Brolin's in it. He's a star. I'm trying to think who else is in it. There's another big star. English actress I've forgotten the name of. And it's set in Wyoming, so kind of beautiful, kind of like western-y kind of feel to it. It's modern day, mountains, and he's got these 2 ranches. One by the Abbott family, which is Josh Brolin's character, his wife and his 2 sons, and one of the sons' daughters, and another much more sort of richer, almost like Dallas, ranch next door. And Josh Brolin goes out into the field and discovers there's a hole in the ground, but it's not an ordinary hole. It's like a supernatural hole that looks like, when you look into it, it's like it's infinity. It's like you're seeing a black hole in the middle of the thing. And I'm not going to say anything else because it will spoil anything, but we learn about what this hole is and who wants to enter it, who wants to control it, and it becomes like this kind of like normally sort of almost like a family drama, like a Dallas type of thing going on, but this thing takes over. It's a really good bit of kind of like realistic kind of science fiction with a kind of very normal storyline under there about families and that set in that kind of westerny Wyoming kind of like cowboys and bull riders and all that stuff. So I really enjoyed it. 8 parts. Give it a go, especially if you like your sci-fi.
That sounds interesting. There was another one that I started on Apple TV and never finished with Sam Neill in that sounds quite similar. But I think it was Crop Circles. I can't remember what it was called now.
Oh yeah, I watched that. That's quite good.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. Actually, I enjoyed it in the end. It didn't get great reviews, and I don't know if they're going to do it again, but I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I'll have to go back to it.
Yeah.
But it sounds similar. I might have give that a look then, because we've still got Apple TV. So
it's on Amazon.
Oh, it's Amazon.
Amazon
sorry,
Prime,
it's
yeah.
TV.
No,
we've got Amazon. Brilliant.
Good. There you go.
I can't believe we've managed to find 3 people with with Apple TV.
I know.
All in one
Ryan
place.
buys Apple everything, so I think it just came with the job lot, to be honest.
All right, fair enough then.
We're going to go and talk about games now. I don't know about you three, but I'm starting to feel we're at this edge now, and we're going to be covering this. I think there's going to be a lot of reveals very soon, isn't there? Coming up in June, we know about the Xbox One, we know about the Summer of Gaming thing, and PlayStation. I think we'll be doing theirs as well in that time. So there's going to be lots of. We're going to be covering it on the podcast. We'll do some specials for these as well. It's been a sort of a little bit of a drought for the last month, isn't it? Apart from the indies, of course, which we review all the time, but no big-ish games. And I think suddenly we're going to get this drop, aren't we? Of everything.
It's coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, and it's ridiculously, what we talked about in the podcast before, they're going to put everything in October, November, December, and certain games are just going to die. It always happens, rather than spreading out. But I think there's going to be a lot of big games coming up soon, so we'll be very excited. But what have we been playing the last couple of weeks? Paul, let's start with you. What have you been playing?
Start with me. I'm just trying to think. I've been playing some of the little indie games, like you say. Probably the one I want to talk about is Whiskey and Zombies, it's called, which is basically what it says on the tin. You play as a member of a redneck family in the south of the good old US of A, in the middle of a zombie outbreak, and you discover that the moonshine that your family brews is the cure for the zombie virus. So basically what that translates into is a kind of top-down twin-stick shooter, like Gauntlet back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
You're old enough to remember Gauntlet, Gareth.
I am.
It's kind of like that, but with the added attraction of you have to be drunk enough not to turn into a zombie, but not too drunk that you can't function. Because as you drink more, your aiming gets worse and you can even pass out and stuff. So it's quite an interesting mechanic. And the game's quite good fun. The only problem with it is that for some bizarre reason, the game is largely set at night. And the developers made the zombies jet black. So when you're looking down from the top, you cannot see the zombies at all. The only time you know something's there is either if you stood on a light patch of road, say, or if something starts chewing on you. It's a very, very peculiar choice, and it makes the game a lot harder. You learn to dread, like, shadows from the trees, because there could be 10,000 zombies in that shadow, and you've got literally no idea.
And they've done this on purpose, have they? To make it like that?
Well, you've got to assume so. I mean, you can't think, I'll make some zombies. What I'll do is I'll just colour them in, and let's try different colours. Let's try red. No, that's a bit easy. We'll make them black. There you go. Nobody will see them then. So, yeah, I mean, it's a very, very bizarre choice. I mean, it's not an easy game anyway, trying to control a drunken redneck. But this bit just makes it that little bit trickier, and it kind of spoils it in a way. If the zombies were more visible, if you could see more of what you were doing, I think it would have been a better game. So, yes, that's what I have been playing.
Oh, very good, Paul. James, what about you?
I've been playing Citizen Sleeper, which is on Game Pass, and it's a little bit of a visual novel combined with like tabletop RPG mechanics and a little bit of time management. So it's like a cyberpunk setting,
right?
And you play the sleeper. So you're basically a digital consciousness of someone who was a human, but now you're in a artificial body, and some mega corporation owns you basically. And at the start of the game, you escape to a space station. So on this space station, every day you have to try and do things to survive, like do a little bit of work, get some currency, and you can do like other jobs for allies that you make, get some scrap, sell that, get food to stay alive. And it's really interesting because it's really deep, the narrative. I mean, really, sci-fi, if you like sci-fi, you will love how deep it is. It's very complex. So if you're reading quite a lot of this complex narrative, it can get a little bit much, but it's interesting. It's a good read if you're up for it. Like I say, having to manage the amount of actions that you've got each day. And your actions are used, you can use dice to do the actions. If you got like a number 6 dice, the action is perfect. If you've got a 1, you're going to risk it a bit. So you've got to be careful where you use these dice. Obviously upgrade over time. You learn new skills. It's just really interesting. I've played a few hours now, but I think I'm halfway through. It's not a massive game. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it sounds it.
Yeah, it's a bit addictive at times as well. You can jump in just for a little bit, do a little bit of reading, do a few tasks, and then jump out again. It's good. I'd recommend it.
Okay, good. Citizen Sleeper on Game Pass, great. Darren, what about you? What's your game of the week?
Game of the week. So I've been playing a game called Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legion of Dr. Creed, which is a bit of a mouthful. Yeah, it is. It's imagine. You can imagine exactly what it is by the title. So it's a Metroidvania, I guess, kind of platform action adventure game, which is kind of rooted in stereotypes from like 80s action films, and it said 20 plus hours of gameplay, and at first I thought no way, but as you kind of get into it, I've put about 13-14 hours in, and I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through. Wow. I just need to finalise my review because it's not published yet. So there is quite a bit there, and it pulls on your love of kind of finding secrets and collectibles, so there's all that going on, but it's quite harsh, it's quite punishing, and there's quite a few boss characters to fight off, and they basically are bullet sponges. They've got big health bars at the top of the screen. You've got to learn their movesets, dodge and shoot, so it can be quite difficult and quite frustrating, but there's just something about it that kept me going back. I don't know what it is. It's like a relationship with alcohol. Like, you get a headache after quite a few pints, but you'll still go back and have some more the next day. It's a very odd relationship I've got with it. So I'll definitely see it through, but I have uttered a few swear words and stuff at times, and told the game to go away in no such words. So it's worth a look. It is, for that amount of gameplay, it is about 16 or 17 quid, I think. So it's not cheap, but if you're into that type of bullet hell platformer type scenario with a bit of dungeon crawl and exploration in there as well, you could do a lot worse, to be fair. Great,
good. Darren, after the podcast we're going to have an intervention and talk about you going back to the pub after the hangover.
Yeah. I might need it. I may need that support from you guys.
Good, we'll do that. Good, okay, right. I've got a really interesting one called Best Month Ever. And this is a game, it's quite an interesting little story. This is a game by the Warsaw Film School. And the Warsaw Film School, they teach how to make films, but also they've just done this thing when they've created a video game. And they've been created by the students, it's by graduates, and from the video game development program, which is really interesting. So they've made this game, and it's been published and it's out at the moment. And Best Month Ever is, what would I say? It's almost like a narrative adventure point and clicker maybe, but really kind of light on the gameplay wise. It's more about that kind of story. You can see where the film background is, and it's set in 1969 in the south of America, and it's about a mother and her young mother and her sort of 8-year-old son. and right at the start of the game, she's very, very poorly, and she hasn't got long really to things. So she needs to go across the USA and find her family and find a family for her son, really, because the dad's gone, and it's like a road trip movie. So you start that and you go off from there, and then meet people on the way and have things happen, events happen. So you can imagine it as a kind of movie, and it has a very cinematic feel in the kind of visuals and the journey. It's a bit rough on the edges at points. Sometimes there's a couple of bits when it's a bit janky, but it's really, the visuals are really beautiful, and they're kind of like the filmic feel of it is, the language is really nice and it really works. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And it's about maybe 4 to 5 hours long. But if you really like your kind of narratives and your stories in your game, this is definitely one here. It's really interesting. There's a few different endings, of course, as there always is. I think it's quite a few different endings. How you turn out, how the decisions you made affects how the boy turns out, who's a sort of narrator. He's narrated for his old age. And yeah, it's great. It's really an interesting experiment from this Warsaw thing, but I really enjoyed it. So I think I've got the review out in a few days. But yeah, it's best month ever. So if you fancy that, give it a go.
How much is it? Yeah.
I think it's about 14 quid. Oh, it's a funny feeling. Yeah, so a bit steep. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But maybe I got that wrong. Let me just have a look here now. Talk about it. Ask another question while I casually look at the thing.
What, Gareth?
Yeah.
How much is it, Gareth?
Unbelievable.
It's got to be August. August is the best month ever, I think. Nah, it's too cold and it's too full of Christmas.
Oh no!
Oh, you
there you go.
It's not that Christmas.
It's 50. Yeah, 15 quid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You weren't far off then.
No. Good. There's the games. There's our games. Let's just talk about some new. Now, I'm sorry, Darren. I'm sorry, Paul, but we're going to chat about this because it's the biggest story of the week, really. It's something we knew. FIFA.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, as we know, and some of us love, is we knew this was going to happen, but we now know all the details. So it's not going to be called from EA FIFA 23 anymore. From this year, the contract runs out after the World Cup, so in November time. So I guess we're going to get FIFA 23, aren't we, or something? I suppose. Then after that, it's going to be called something else. It's called EA Sports FC, I think, isn't it? That's their new name. So it's not going to have the FIFA brand. Is that right? Have I got that right?
That's right. I mean,
I don't care.
It must have taken them a long time to think of that name. What a name it is. Amazing.
20 people around a big conference table took all day to come up with that.
Yeah. They're like, we need to renegotiate with a FIFA license unless we can come up with a great name. What have we got, guys? Yeah,
one of the reasons they said behind this change they wanted it because they have to pay FIFA. I think it's like $1 billion or something. That's a year, basically. So they decided to go on their own. And what's interesting, FIFA have come out and said, "This is great. We're going to make our own game." And under the FIFA brand, it's going to be the best thing ever. So there's going to be this interest in whether FIFA are going to, because what's happened already is like the EA group have got the top clubs and leagues, and they've got them attached to it as well. So people have come out and support. And so it's going to be interesting to see if there's going to be a split in licenses, and are you going to get Colchester United? I'm going to go with FIFA. I don't know.
I literally think the only difference is not having the name, and I think it's the World Cup content, and that's it. We're not literally all the losing,
right? Which
is crazy. Because if you think all that money just to call yourself FIFA, it was a no-brainer really for me.
I mean, it's a mad thing because it is such a brand, isn't it? When you talk about, it's in films, it's in TV, it's in theatre now. People talk about, I'm going to go home. Lines here. I'm going to go home and play FIFA. You know what it is when they say that.
Yeah, like Call of Duty. It's that name that sticks with you.
But
I think that'll. Still wrong.
No, go on. What are you going to say, Jim?
I think that'll work in FIFA's favour if they do their own game. the first game, people will play it and not realise it's a different game. So they'll have a head start with the first developed game that they go with. But if it didn't hit the ground running, they'll end up like football, whatever it's called. And it will just be forgotten within a year or two.
Yeah. And also,
I mean, you can't recreate gameplay.
EA have got
the best gameplay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've got their gameplay is the same. We're not going to get a different. Yeah, the game modes. It's going to be that's what you get with the EA stuff. Paul, are you interested in this at all?
Yeah, do you know what? I can't wait. I couldn't sleep last night for fear of worrying about whether the new FIFA game will be good. No, honestly.
Good.
There's very few things in this world I care about less than football, but football video games is one of them.
Good. Darren, you feeling the same?
Not quite as emotional about it as Paul.
So emotional. Totes emotional.
I think the last FIFA I played properly was 2006 or something, so I'm not bothered. But I think that it reminds me of how close Pro Evolution Soccer got to FIFA in the noughties in terms of licensing and players, and so I felt like they hit a bit of a peak before it fell away. So James is absolutely right. The first new FIFA, there'll be a lot of curiosity, but if they don't get it right, it might not even come back because people will realise that the EA one is very much the bread and butter of the football game world, and they'll stay with that, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to do one last comment and we'll move on, just for Paul's sake, before he hangs himself.
Too late.
The one good benefit I can think for this is, me and James talked about this in game modes. When it became, I think a FIFA, really early on FIFA, did this for one time, people liked it, and then it got the FIFA brand said you can't do this. So because it's FIFA, they don't want the game to be in disrepute. They don't want you to mod stuff. They don't want you to do. It's got to be, the brand's got to be right, and that also means they don't want to see fouls. They don't want to see dives. They don't want to see referees making bad decisions or wrong decisions. All those elements could come back in again. There was a great football game that used to have a sort of dive button, and you used to do it so you would dive, and then sometimes you got away with it, sometimes you didn't, like the game. So, and I think those little bits, it might give EA a kind of open. They can open stuff out, and they can do some stuff with different teams, like a different mod team. I don't know. That could be the really interesting thing.
That is interesting. It'd be interesting to see how arcade they go versus kind of sim as it is in terms of realism versus having a bit of fun with it, I guess.
Yeah. James, would you like that? Some diving?
I'd prefer to bring back the 2-foot challenge button.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
My favourite.
Yeah.
Just dive in, injure him, but it'd be worth it if you got a red card. That's what I like.
Good, James, very good. Moving on. EA have also sort of like, I think EA maybe have got a little thing coming up, haven't they, in the next day? Maybe it's tonight or something. But they've teased they've got a few things coming out. There's a Dead Space remake, I think, which is going to be the big thing they're going to showcase. I think that was meant for 2023, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. They've got a slate of 4 games coming out. There's a PGA Tour game. God, I haven't played those in years. Have any of you played those golf games?
No, Mario Golf. It's much more fun.
So that's so realistic.
Talking about realism in arcade, yeah.
Absolutely. I played the one with Rory McIlroy on the front quite a lot. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
So
you'll be happy. There's a remake in there, a sports title, but they've got a new major IP. They've said that's going to come out. So something new from EA. What could that be? We don't know. Of course, they've got Mass Effect. They've got Dragon Age as well. But I was thinking about Anthem the other day. I thought I've never really played Anthem. I did the tutorial bit, and then that was it. After that, so it'd be good to see EA do something new, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it would. I have no idea what it could be, to be honest. I've been racking my brain since I read it, and I can't think of what it would be.
No, it's a new IP. We don't know.
Didn't they make a studio with one of the fellas who made Halo?
Oh, did they?
I think so.
Good.
I mean, I could be making it up as I go along, but I'm fairly sure I was reading it that one of the guys that made the original Halo, that he's formed a new studio and EA are involved. I mean, the more I talk, the less certain I am that I read it.
But what's the studio called? Or?
I don't know. It's called Not Bungie. Yeah, I'm not sure now. So perhaps just disregard that entire comment. Yeah.
Good.
What you're saying is, Paul, someone somewhere is with some company making some game.
There is somebody somewhere making a game. Yeah, and it's going to be, and I'm sure it said it was going to be a first-person shooter, but beyond that, I can't remember. So I'm sorry for wasting your time, though, listeners.
No, I liked it. This is the kind of journalism we want on here. This keeps to our standards. I like it.
Pure speculation.
No, there was a little bit of research. It's just that it didn't sink into my brain quite as deeply as I thought it had.
It's as good as me once saying Cyberpunk's never going to be delayed, and then a day later it got delayed. Yeah. Good. Right. Another thing that came out this week was Gotham Knights, and we had a little kind of trailer. There was a thing that was. I think on the PlayStation Store, maybe, that it was 4-player co-op, and then it got taken down, and they said, no, that's not happening. But what's interesting with this is the biggest story about it is they cancelled the old gen versions of the game. So it's the first one that's really gone, no, we're not doing that now. And that for the Xbox One and PS4. So that maybe does support that 4-player co-op thing a little bit as well, which makes sense with this game, as you're playing 4 characters, aren't it? You know. But that's an interesting move, isn't it? Are we finally going into this now? Now the stocks of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are coming a little bit more readier now. Are we going to have this? James, what do you think?
Well, all I can say is I think it's a very brave move, because already I don't think it would be a massively popular game. And to limit yourself to the next generation only, or the latest generation, I think it's going to backfire, I think. I'm glad people are doing it now and making it, this job. But I mean, you want to maximise the amount of people that are going to buy your game. And I think having a Batman game without Batman, you're already fighting a uphill battle.
I think this is you've been down this game from the start. All of you have, apart from me.
And rightly so.
And I don't think this is. I think this will sell. It has the kind of the DC brand on it. I think it would do really well. I don't know why I think this, but it looked fine to me. It's got the villains in there.
What are you basing this on, Gareth?
From my
have you done your research?
Professionalism. Paul, you don't.
Watch the demo.
Paul, you're not a big fan of this. Yeah, I have watched the demo. Yeah,
I'm always for a co-op game. I'd much rather play a co-op game than a PvP game, say.
Right.
So that's a big plus for me. The other thing I just sort of want to mention while we're talking about not having an Xbox One version. Don't forget, with the Xbox Cloud stuff, you can play next-gen games on an Xbox One. So theoretically, you could still play it on your Xbox One. I mean, I'm pretty sure PlayStation doesn't have anything like that. Am I right?
No,
I don't think there's a. No, I've not heard of it on PlayStation. So obviously they've lost a bit of a market there. But if you really want to play it on the Xbox One, you can. You'll just have to play it through the cloud rather than playing it locally. But it's got a chance. It looks okay. I think isn't there a game based on Suicide Squad as well?
Coming out in 2023.
That was the one that of the two I thought looked more entertaining. But I'm perfectly willing to give this a try. If we can get the Xbox Hub crew together, especially if it's 4-player co-op, I think it would be quite amusing.
Yeah,
it won't be far. every team.
Okay, that's James's
In
prediction.
the demo,
Mystic James.
they make it try to play every team. Yeah,
Right.
they're definitely going to.
Okay, good. Thank you,
Okay.
James. Darren,
Thanks, James.
Your thoughts? Do you think this is going to be?
I'm quite intrigued by this. So I'm more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, but I quite like the series Titans. I think it's on Netflix, and that doesn't have a lot of Batman in it. It has bits and bobs, but he's not front and center. So I'm quite intrigued by this. I think that kind of going current gen only is a gamble. I don't totally agree with James that it's going to backfire, but it definitely is a gamble. Maybe it hints to they know more than we do about supply. Maybe they're going to finally sort it out for this kind of holiday season, because it'll be coming up to 2 years since the consoles were released pretty much. So they were the initial forecast, I think, for the chip shortages and all that business. So potentially they'll time it right, but it's a gamble. I wouldn't like to say that, they're going to be fine, because there's still a lot of Xbox One and PS4s out there in people's living rooms that they're still playing as their main console, I think.
Yeah. Good. Call of Duty. Who's put this on here?
That was me.
James.
Duty and FIFA.
Good, James. Talk us through it. I don't understand any of it.
I mean, it caught my eye. It's a new limited time mode coming to Call of Duty Warzone. And it sounds epic, like literally. It's basically Godzilla versus Kong in Call of Duty. So you're going to be trying to survive in the war zone with Godzilla and King Kong roaming the area.
That does sound good.
It could stand on you, it could use the heat ray on you from Godzilla. It sounds crazy. And I think there's a way you can even get an unlock where you can get kills from King Kong or Godzilla killing people. Like a kill streak. So it just looks crazy. And that's from today for 2 weeks. So I mean, it's enticing me back to Call of Duty.
We should have another go at Warzone. I kind of enjoyed Warzone. We'd be terrible now. Yeah, okay, I might do that.
We were terrible anyway.
We were awful, yeah. Absolutely awful. Maybe we do that. Let's do that. It's 100 gig or something to download.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. I think, as you've just said though, James, I think that's the idea, isn't it, I guess? Giving people a reason to go and check it out. It's definitely a step in the right direction, because the films are good fun, and that looks like good fun, and it's just something a bit different, I think, for Call of Duty. So I think it can only be a positive thing.
Good. Right, gentlemen, are you ready for a quiz?
Yes.
Always.
Born ready.
So
this in French?
Is no French.
I was going to say, which part of the world is it coming from this week?
No, none of that.
Bienvenue dans le quiz.
This time we've done this before. It's basically 15 questions, and it's called Roll Over this game. And the idea is that I give you one question, and you have one answer. You only have one answer, one attempt to answer the question each. Not each. You can buzz in. So the first person
okay.
But you have one, and then if you get it, you get a point. If none of you get it, it gets rolled over. So the next question's worth 2 points, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that's how it plays. But you only get you have your buzzers. Let's have your buzzers. James, what's your buzzer noise? Nothing. Darren, what's yours?
Buzz.
Good. Paul, what's yours?
Meow.
Great. Good. I love it.
I'm looking at the cat, that's why.
So we all clear on the rules? 15
Absolutely.
questions. Yeah.
I think we should pass the first 14 and then have it all or nothing on the last one.
That's the danger.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Question number 1. Nintendo began as a company that sold which products?
Meow.
Darren, I think it was.
Playing cards.
Correct. Well done, Darren. Straight in there.
Very nice.
He's key.
I think you need to get your hearing aid. Paul's
already angry.
I'm pretty confident I was there.
He was there. Don't worry.
Now tell me that Scotland's not in Great Britain. Go on.
Hey, ask me again in 2 years. Right.
Good. Question number 2. Well done, Dan. You were first. What was the best-selling video game in December 2017? What was the best-selling video game in December 2017?
Yeah, we heard you. We just can't remember.
I'm filling the gaps of your stupidity.
Oh, how rude. Meow.
Paul?
I'll say Call of Duty something. I can't remember which one it was. Is it Black Ops 4?
No. James?
Is it Call of Duty Black Ops 3?
No.
Darren.
Darren?
To complete the set, was it Call of Duty Black Ops 2?
No.
Not in 2017. That was
It was
360.
Call of Duty World War II.
Oh.
So we've got a rollover.
Second guess.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rollover. So this is worth 2 points. This next one. Question 3. Now this is key here, the wording here. What is the highest grossing game of all time? James?
GTA 5.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Is it Skyrim?
No. Darren?
Is it Tetris?
No. Good idea. Good idea.
Oh.
It is.
Gems of War.
It's.
Is it Gems of War?
It's Pokemon.
Oh.
Pokemon isn't a game.
Which one?
Pokemon is a series of games.
Yeah, it's the first Pokemon is the game. It's the grossest game.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Guarantee
I'll
you.
check this afterwards.
Check this.
Yeah, I think we need some fact checking.
Yeah, we'll
Need
do
an
it. Pal.
independent adjudicator. I can deal on
It's,
it.
it's like Donald Trump is doing the quiz. So we have to check everything.
Oh my god! I might give you a bonus point for the next one. Just a separate one. So is it? It's 3. This one, isn't it? You all got that wrong.
There's 3 now. Yeah.
Okay. In the Pac-Man video game, what's the name of the orange ghost? Darren, 3 points.
Is it Blinky?
No.
Oh.
Meow.
Paul?
Is it Clyde?
It is Clyde, Paul. Well done,
good
3 points.
It's nothing to do with the great big book about Pac-Man I had to review for the website either. I just remembered. I knew it was Inky, Blinky, Pinky and Clyde. And I was like, well, it's not going to be Inky and it's not going to be Blinky. It's not...
There we go. Paul's got
Excellent.
Come on, James. What's happened? So we're going back to 1 point now. What year was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, released?
Meow.
Darren.
Was it 1991?
It was. Well done for 1 point. Very good.
You stuck, Edward.
Just because it was, I share my birth year with it. That's all. And then I doubted myself, but I had to go with it.
James, come on. 1 point.
Come on, James.
I'm waiting for the big rollover.
Oh, you are? Yeah.
184 million, like the Euro Millions.
1 UK winner.
I know. Unbelievable.
What
Anyway.
was the first character from a video game to have a balloon featured in the Macy's parade? Sorry. James, you understood what I was saying. Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. Is it Pikachu?
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Is it Pac-Man?
No. Darren, you got a chance of a guess?
Can I have the question again, please?
Yeah. What was the first character from a video game to have a balloon featured in Macy's parade? Is it Macy's parade? Macy's parade.
Macy's. Yeah.
Oh, now you say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was thinking about Marcy's parade. That's an entirely different thing.
Oh dear. That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. I'll say Mario.
No, it was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
it was going to be one of those two, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we've got a rollover. This is good.
Ah,
Yes.
Question 7. for 2 points. What was the first gaming console to have in-house memory? James?
Oh, I got the wrong year. Is it Mega Drive?
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Was it the Atari VCS?
No. Darren?
I feel like I've heard this before. Is it the Sega Master System?
No.
Oh. I feel like it was a Sega console from the back in the day.
It was Sega Saturn.
Oh,
Close. Yeah.
damn.
Oh,
Right, good. Well done. It rolls over to 3
there we
points.
go.
Oh, it's worth winning now.
Yeah.
James going to swoop in a minute.
He is.
What video game franchise has racked up over $1 billion in lawsuits?
Oh,
James?
GTA.
Yes, it is, James. Well done.
Of
Straight
course
in.
it's GTA. Yeah.
He was uncertain, though. It was like, cuckoo.
It is.
I don't know. It's amazing. I thought it was Call of Duty.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. 3 points. So it's Paul on 3, James on 3, and Darren on 2. Quite changing.
Oh,
Come on, Darren.
all to play for.
Yeah.
Come on,
The
Darren. What you
beauty
messing
of
about
my
at?
attention.
For 1 point. What planet is most similar to the scalable size of the Minecraft world?
Buzz.
Darren?
I'll go for Mercury.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Try Mars.
No. James, it's all on you. James?
Is it Venus?
No. It's Neptune.
Oh,
No.
wow.
Oh,
That's a big one.
of course
Yeah,
it is.
good.
Oh, I can't believe it. At least it wasn't Uranus, eh?
Oh, my God.
Sorry, I had to get that in there.
That's what I've heard. I'm not going to say anything. Right, good. Right. What? Number question 10. This is for 2 points, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the highest grossing... Oh, God. What is the highest grossing movie based on a video game?
Buzz.
Darren?
I think it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the most recent one.
No.
Oh.
Highest grossing. Meow.
Paul?
Is it Mortal Kombat?
No. James?
I can't help but go obvious with Sonic the Hedgehog.
No.
It's not Mario, is it? Please tell me it's not
Definitely
Mario.
do.
It's Detective Pikachu.
Oh,
Of course.
yes.
That's
Yeah.
a good film as well.
That is good. I enjoyed
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, yeah.
Good. So we're on to 3 points, aren't we?
Oh.
Question 11. This is a big one. Yeah. What movie franchise influenced the creation of the game Doom?
Buzz.
Darren?
Was it Alien?
It was. Well done.
Oh, come on.
3
I
points
feel
to
like I
Darren.
read that somewhere recently.
Yeah. So 5 points to Darren, 3 points to Paul, 3 points to James, and we've got four questions left. Oh, this is good.
Getting close.
Oh, it is getting close.
Question 12. What is the name of the woman Mario is attempted to save from the
Buzz.
Meow.
James?
Princess.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Oh.
Oh,
Is it Daisy?
No.
yeah,
Darren?
I know it. Is it Pauline?
It's Pauline. Well done, Darren. That's 1
You were going to
point
say Donkey Kong, weren't you? Not Mario.
from the original Donkey Kong. Yeah, you like originally. You
Oh, he's
interrupted.
running off with it now. Look at that.
6.
More
We can
Nintendo
all-
questions, please. I shouldn't say that on an Xbox podcast, but
Good.
Yeah, could we have some Xbox related ones?
Never. Here
Never.
we go. 13. The protagonist in Grand Theft Auto Vice City was voiced by which actor?
Buzz.
Darren.
Is it Ray Liotta?
It is Darren. Well done. Another point. 7 points to Darren. 4 and 3. James on 3. I think you might have lost, haven't you?
Well, we're playing for pride now.
You're playing for second and third.
I don't think I've ever won a quiz. I think I've just drew 2 of them. So I am
this is
very
good.
happy with this.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay.
That 5-year slip Tim's paying off, is it?
Well, it was a crisp one.
How long did it take Marcus Pearson to create the first version of Minecraft? James?
An hour.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
3 years.
No. Darren, do you want to have a guess at this?
7 days.
Well done, Darren.
What?
You are kidding me.
No.
Yeah. Another point for Darren. This is good. He's just rubbing it in now to you two.
I
Just
really
rubbing
should
it
have
in.
done the Euromillions last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
I love it that it's just a complete guess. Yeah, 7 days. Yeah, well done. You could have said anything. I think Gareth wants you to win.
Last question. And this is for you two, second or third here. This is the key here. What is the name of the primary world upon which the world of Warcraft takes place?
God,
James.
I've never played it.
Me neither, pal.
I think I
Krypton.
know it.
James, what is it?
Krypton.
No.
Oh,
I
dear.
have no idea.
No.
Okay.
Paul, Darren?
I'll buzz in. Buzz.
Yes.
Is it Azeroth?
It is. Well done, Darren. It just...
Thank you.
Is it?
I used to play it when I was.
Yeah.
Well done, Darren.
So Darren's final scores
Tell you
down
what,
9 points.
when your number's up. Good
Oh,
grief.
that sounds like a threat.
He doesn't. He
Good
doesn't.
luck,
All I'll
Dora.
say is-
I know where you live.
All I'll say is don't ask me about games within the last kind of 5 to 6 years. Anything before that, I'm not too bad on.
Yeah.
Or involving an Xbox.
Or involving an Xbox. That's right.
Well done, Darren. You
Thank
you
you.
deserve
Well, anyway,
that.
yeah.
You are much better.
Congratulations,
Paul
Darren.
hates losing. You think he'd get?
I don't mind.
You think he'd get used to it by now?
If it's fair.
Oh yes, right. Yeah, good. Well done, Darren. Unlucky James. Unlucky Paul. Both joint losers, which is nice.
Thanks.
3.
8 seconds.
Oh,
There's a winner and joint losers.
Good.
Cheers.
Gentlemen, what are we looking forward to next week? Paul, what are you looking forward to next week?
What am I looking forward to next week? Not a huge amount, to be honest. It's going to be another week of work and trying to fix all of the computers and stuff. But other than that, I don't really have much to look forward to. So, yeah, there you go. Just life, you know.
Oh, okay.
the quiz wasn't that bad, Paul. Please,
Come on.
don't
It
be
was.
sorry.
I'm just going to go and sit in a warm bath with a sharp blade.
You have got Paul. You've 100% achievement to Elden Ring, haven't you? I'm going to give you that as well. You've got all the
Thanks,
achievements. See?
Have you
Oh,
finished it yet?
yes.
No, I'm at the end and I can't do it. I'm stuck, so I'm leaving it for a bit. Yeah, I'm near the end.
Well, shout me when you do it, and I will come and assist.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Because I'm quite good at the last boss now.
Good.
so-
I love that. Thank you. Darren, what are you doing? What are you doing this week?
So not much either, but I've got a presser to attend about a game that's under embargo. So hopefully I can speak more about that in the next couple of weeks on the podcast.
Have
So
you
excited.
you've been to the press thing yet, or is it you've got that?
I've got it to come
Okay,
in
great.
the next day or so.
Brilliant.
Is it for Grand Theft Auto 5?
The next remake, I could possibly say.
Good. James, what about you? What are you looking forward to next week?
Podcast, that's right, really.
Oh my God, this is
Very
terrible.
exciting week, as you can tell.
There must be some kind of weird Korean-based series you can find in the depths of Netflix somewhere to watch.
I'm sure there is. But I just don't know which one yet.
Okay.
Good.
One
Just think of
somewhere.
the fun you can have finding out, though.
I know. Oh, can't wait.
You sounded almost like you meant it then.
It is, isn't it? It's very good. I think I might. Yeah, there's not much going on. Vampire the Masquerade is coming out, which is. I think it's by the Sherlock Holmes people. It looks like it's very similar dynamics. All the people who did the game, I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, it has that very similar kind of feel to it. But yeah, that's coming out next week. It's quite interesting.
It's similar to a game.
It's what?
You just said it was similar to a game. I was wondering if you could be a little more vague.
I know. I'm trying to think of the game. I've forgotten. I reviewed it. It's five parts to it. I can't remember. Oh, it's set in a mansion. Anyway, we'll think on that. We'll tell you next time. Gentlemen, if we need
you
to
could leave it as a cliffhanger for the viewers.
Write in
with your answers, yeah.
On postcards. Gentlemen, if we need to find you, where can we find you? Paul, where can we find you?
I am on the Twitter and my handle is at XboxHubPol.
Good. And Darren, what about you?
I'll have to say it now. I'm also on Twitter and my handle is at 27Darren.
Brilliant.
James, what about you?
I'm on Twitter and my tag on Twitter is @OSAO, and it's the same on Instagram.
Good. You can find me on GB Variety on Twitter and other bits and bobs. Right. But for now, until next time, thank you very much. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.